Some people say for Carl, but I'm usually more of a for content type of guy.
Deep Rock Galactic is a first-person cooperative shooter utilizing a unique class-based system. You're a dwarf working for a company called, you're never gonna guess this one, Deep Rock Galactic. You, along with your other height-impaired colleagues and machinery, are tasked with a variety of missions, each with their own unique objectives that effectively boil down to do this, get this, and most importantly, don't do this. Get money, get beer, get stronger, get bitches, repeat. Although it can be broadly categorized as a first-person shooter, Deep Rock Galactic takes a variety of elements from roguelikes, sandbox games, and survival games. Currently, I'm close to around 100 hours in Deep Rock Galactic, and for you Omega keyboard warriors, this might just be rookie numbers for you, but as someone who has the attention span of a piece of fucking gravel, this is a pretty big deal for me. Rarely does a game come along that so entirely captures my attention. Even when I drift away from the game to play something else, I inevitably come back to it. But what makes it so great? For many of you, maybe you already have the answer, but allow me the time to put into words. You know, my words at least. This is my video. I could give a flying fuck what you think about this. What makes a game replayable for me is hard to define. On a surface level, if you found a game fun to play, it could be argued that it has replayability, since you could likely find enjoyment playing it again. But anyone that's actually played games before knows this isn't true. For many games, the amount of fun you have playing it through the first time has diminishing returns. So I suppose for a game to be replayable, it has to break this pattern, being just as fun, if not more fun, every time you play it. And I'm just gonna say it. Deep Rock Galactic is fun. And it has replayability. One thing that makes the game extremely replayable is the level design. Every single mission you go on is procedurally generated, so even if there are patterns for the layout of certain mission types, no mission will ever entirely play the same. Not only that, but there are a variety of different biomes which each offer their own unique challenges and scenery that distinguish missions from each other. Not only that, but there are a good handful of different mission types to choose from, each offering their own objective and secondary objective to help progress quests and earn needed materials. Not only that, alright, I'm done. All this to say, there's a lot of variability between missions in Deep Rock Galactic, meaning you'll fundamentally never be playing the same level. This meshes great with the gameplay loop of Deep Rock Galactic. As a mining dwarf, you have multiple progression paths, some vertical and some horizontal, and by accepting certain quests and completing missions, you work towards completing these goals. Most quests are fairly short and offer the player an immediate reward for completing them. These rewards come in the form of new weapons, resources, cosmetics, and eventually weapon modifications. There are, of course, much longer forms of progression, but working towards these goals doesn't interfere with earning rewards from these quests. This results in always having something to work towards while never feeling like a grind. The actual gameplay of Deep Rock Galactic mirrors a survival horde shooter similar to something like Left 4 Dead, but with more pizzazz, I guess. The game offers 5 different difficulty options, which again gives players more choice when deciding how they want to play. The harder the difficulty, the larger the rewards, incentivizing players to actively push their limits for the chance at just a bit more loot. Sometimes this results in your entire group wiping and having to restart the mission, or with you and your friends walking out there pimped out to the brim with gold. Most times the difficulty is well balanced, and especially at the higher difficulties, the game can get insanely tense. A small detail that really amplifies this tension is the rush back to the drop pod at the end of the mission. With only 5 minutes to spare and even less in certain missions, you are encouraged to not only focus on making paths to navigate through caves, but also have an effective method of getting back the way you came. It's a small detail for most players, but at higher difficulties can make or break getting back in time without dying. Another small detail I can't help but mention is the graphics and sound design. Everything in this game sounds so goddamn good. Crisper than British people's version of Lay's potato chips. Sound design is top-notch stuff. Graphics in this game, I believe, are stylized very well, and although some people might not be a huge fan, I'm not sure how else they could have taken the graphics that would work nearly as well. Because the devs didn't go for anything hyper-realistic, it means the game can run fairly well on low-end devices like mine, and it further helps lower the barrier of entry. Also, you thought I was done talking about player choice and customization to suit your playstyles? Not even close. The game offers 4 different classes to choose from that miraculously break the overused Holy Trinity composition we see in a lot of games. So let me introduce you to our 4 bearded blokes. Do you love flying around like a fucking mosquito? Do you like light bulbs? Do you hate fall damage? Well, the Scout may just be the class for you. The Scout is Deep Rock Galactic's most mobile class by far, offering some fairly basic weaponry with some cool unique stuff thrown in here and there. Your main job is to light up the room for your team and to get to those hard-to-reach places. Did you grow up watching Bob the Builder? Do you like pancakes? Do you love being spam-pinged by your teammates in video games? Then the Engineer is the class for you. The Engineer has a wide range of firepower to choose from, but his obvious signature weapon is going to be his assemblable children. Your main job as the Engineer is going to be to help hold down objectives with your multiple sources of damage and to provide platforms to walk on, and in some cases, fall on, for you and your teammates. Do you love the slow walk up back to the top of the slide? Do you enjoy blowing bubbles? And most importantly, do you love the Second Amendment? If you answered yes to any of these questions, the Gunner should be the class for you. The Gunner has access to a wide variety of big weapons with even bigger damage. As this class, you'll provide a big chunk of damage to your team, offer a slow but sometimes necessary mode of transportation, and every now and then blow a bubble to help out a teammate who is swarmed by just a few too many deadly alien arachnids. Do you love digging? Do you love accidentally shooting your teammates? And above all, do you hate doors? Oh yeah! Well, the Driller is likely a perfect choice for you. With some of the most unique weapons in the game, the Driller has multiple great options for dealing with large swarms of enemies. Your role in the team will revolve around digging to objectives, digging towards materials, and digging out of a pit. Alright, now that that's explained, I hope you can see the variety of choices you have. Within these classes, you also have multiple choices to make to further find a playstyle that suits you. This comes in the form of different weapons, item upgrades, and eventually weapon mods that can entirely change the feel of certain weapons. Did I mention you can also customize how your dwarf looks? Yeah, pretty great stuff. Cosmetics are a main staple of progression in Deep Rock Galactic, and maybe that's not your cup of tea, but personally, I love it. One of my favorite things to do is to look around at the other drip my other miners are rocking. Sometimes that shit looks sick as fuck, and sometimes other people look like a clown that fell into a Christmas tree. But either way, gives player models a lot of personality, and it's yet another way to distinguish yourself from those around you. Alright, I think you might be able to see why I love the game so much now, but there's a whole other reason people love this game, and why it's garnered such a strong community. The devs of this game are absolutely phenomenal. New content is pushed out semi-regularly, with events also popping up every now and then as well. Not to mention, all of these content patches are entirely free. That's right, if you own the game, you get access to the content, which not only helps keep players coming back to check out new content, but prevents a fragmentation of the player base. The guys over at Ghost Ship Games are also sure to keep monetization restricted only to cosmetics, which yes, some people might not love, but considering the game is only $30 and technically a live service, I'd say it's more than reasonable. It's not something that's really shoved in your face either, and personally, I don't really feel like it detracts from the quality of the items you can earn in-game, so win-win for me. The dev's good relationship with the player base could also contribute to Deep Rock Galactic having, in my opinion, one of the least toxic player bases I've ever come across. For a game that requires teamwork, has friendly fire, and voice chat, you would expect to run into some huge assholes, but my encounters with those types of people have been fairly limited, thankfully. Most people don't take the game too seriously and are happy to help new players out. Rock and stones are thrown on a fairly frequent basis, and I've met a lot of amazing people through voice chat and text chat. Deep Rock Galactic holds a really special place in my heart, so hopefully some things I said here today will encourage you to go check it out for yourself if you haven't already. For those of you coming from my Warhammer video, yes, I do plan on picking up the Leagues of Vote when they release. I also want to say a massive thank you though. The support I've gotten on that video is simultaneously inspiring and really fucking terrifying. Like, Jesus Christ. But I'm gonna keep pushing out content as much as I can. I unfortunately am a pretty busy person, so I can safely say my upload schedule will not at all be consistent. But as long as I still enjoy making videos, you'll hopefully see me from time to time. At the very least. Thank you for tuning in to another one of my schizophrenic rants, and hopefully I'll see you during my next manic episode. Take care.